This video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and while supplies last, if you mention Saffron Olive in your order notes, we'll hook you up with a free Saffron Olive sticker with any Card Kingdom order. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. So today, we're ready to pioneer to play a deck that we had an instant deck tech of a few days ago, and I just really want to try this deck out. This is one of, I think, the most explosive, potentially, decks in the Pioneer format. I'm calling it Green-Red Sneak Attack, even though, obviously, we're playing Pioneer, there's no sneak attack, but the way the deck plays is basically the same. We're trying to ramp into something that can cheat something massive into play really quickly, and when things go perfectly, and we get our best draws, this is a deck that can maybe even win the game on turn 3, which is about as fast as it gets in the Pioneer format. So if you want to see a full breakdown of Green-Red Sneak Attack, make sure to check out the instant deck tech. Otherwise, we're going to do a quick 2-minute refresher deck tech, jump into a league, see how Green-Red Sneak Attack actually plays. Before we do, a super quick reminder, if you haven't already, it would be spectacular of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk Green-Red Sneak Attack, and the plan of this deck is pretty simple. We are looking to cheat a big thing into play with haste. One of the important pieces of this puzzle is Rhythm of the Wild, which can give one of our creatures haste, can also makes all of our creatures uncounterable, which is nice. So this is a way we can haste our stuff into play. It's joined by Surrak the Hunt Caller as another way to haste up our team. As long as we have at least 8 total power creatures, and Surrak has 5 of it, we can give something haste before combat on our turn. So what we want to do with this deck is put something massive into play and then smash our opponent with it. Speaking of haste, we even have haste granting in our ramp slot. So Sylvan Caryatid, Generator Servant are cards that come down hopefully on turn 2, ramp us up to 4 or even 5 mana on turn 3, and that's where our nut draw comes from. The best possible start our deck can get is turn 2 Generator Servant, and then using Generator Servant and our 3 lands, cast a 5-drop with haste on turn number 3, and that 5-drop can potentially win the game if it is Ilharg the Raze-Boar. So Ilharg the Raze-Boar, 5 mana, 6/6 trample. When it comes into play, we get to essentially sneak attack a creature into play. Put a creature into play, tapped and attacking. It bounces back to our hand on our next end step, but whatever, we don't care, the damage is already done. It is joined by Champion of Ronas, which less explosive than Ilharg, because while it puts a creature into play, it's not tapped and attacking, but a little bit cheaper, can come down on turn 3 even with the help of just Sylvan Caryatid, and then when we exert it, we can put a creature into play from our hand. So these 2 cards allow us to cheat something like Worldspine Wurm into play, and the absolute most powerful, most insane thing our deck can do is turn 2 Generator Servant, turn 3 Ilharg with haste, put Worldspine Wurm into play. That amounts to 21 points of trampling damage. So probably just winning the game on the spot, or maybe our opponent like chump blocks and goes to 1 or 2, but then we still have Ilharg, and Worldspine Wurm goes back to our hand, and we get to do it again the next turn, and if Worldspine Wurm dies, we get 3 5/5 trampling tokens, just an unbelievable threat. Basically, Worldspine Wurm is the Emrakul, I would say, of the Pioneer format. If you're going to choose something into play, it doesn't get any bigger and badder than Worldspine Wurm. Our backup plan is Combustible Gearhulk, which, another solid thing to cheat into play, only, quote-unquote, a 6/6 for 6, but if we're bouncing it with Ilharg, we get to reuse the Enter the Battlefield every turn, and the Enter the Battlefield trigger is actually really good. We either draw 3 cards, or we mill 3 cards, and our opponent takes damage equal to their total converted mana cost. Our opponent gets to choose, but if they choose to mill, they could just die. If we hit like a Worldspine Wurm or 2, that can equal 20 or more damage all by itself, plus if we draw 3 cards, we're fine with that anyway. Otherwise, see the another way to cheat things in the play, or maybe 2 things into play. If we have a creature with power 4 or greater, just 6 mana, grab a creature from our top 8. If we have Ferocious, a creature power 4 or greater, we can grab 2 creatures instead. So another way to find Ilharg and Worldspine Wurms and Combustible Gearhulks. Removal-wise, Wild/Sweltering Suds, and the mana base, Handmare Battlement's a backup way to give our creatures haste for a relatively low cost. Then we have our dual lands, Stomping Ground, Game Trail, Cinderglade, Rootbound Crag, although I made a slight change. After playtesting the deck, Game Trail was giving me all kinds of problems. It was coming coming into play tapped when we need it, untapped to put Ilharg into play and haste and so forth. So I ended up dropping Game Trail, replacing it with a Forest, a Mountain, and 1 copy of Temple of Abandon. I kind of like Temple in this deck because we don't do anything on turn 1, so we can afford a turn 1 tap land, and we have 25 lands in our deck. We're looking for specific pieces, so I almost wonder if more temples would be worth it as a way to just dig for our important finishers. Otherwise, 4 mountains, 4 forests, actually 1 more of each thanks to the changes. In the sideboard, Veil of Summer gives us a good way to protect our team from counter spells, removal spells, some more customization options for our finishers, Carnage Tyrant for counter spell matchups, removal matchups, Rurk Thar absolutely wrecks decks like Phoenix where our opponent can't cast non-creatures or they're going to kill themselves, Hornet Queen gives us a bunch of blockers against creature-based grindy decks, Courser, Feed the Clans for life gain, Anger the Gods, a sweeper against aggro, Pithing Needle, shut down Felidare Guardian style combos, Planeswalkers, Grafdigger's Cage for Collected Company and Graveyard decks, and that is green-red Sneak Attack for Pioneer, and that is our Much Abrew deck for today. So let's jump into the gameplay, see if we can get some turn 3 kills. In Pioneer, Generator Servant Ilharg, put in Worldspine Wurm, 21 trampling damage on turn 3. Let's see if it actually works. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the gameplay, and I will talk to you soon. Alright, Much Brew About Nothing time. We are playing some green-red Sneak Attack in Pioneer. And we're going to keep this. It's a little speculative. Llanowar Elves. We need lands, basically. Alright, Cinderglade tapped. Well, if this is a Llanowar Elves deck, then these Sweltering Suns might actually be reasonable-ish, at least decent. Opponent. Wow, okay, sure. That's fine. We'll take a mountain. Opponent gets a swamp. Well, we will kill your Llanowar. Huh, interesting. So opponent gets to Thoughtseize. I guess they take Generator Servant and hope we don't draw lands. Yeah. Cinderglade tapped. Opponent. Overgrown Tomb. Tapped. And passes. Well, we get to get down this rhythm, which is nice. Rootbound Crag. Ew, mismatched Rootbound Crags. Rhythm of the Wilds. All right, we're closing in on it. We need a Sneak Attack. Champion Aronas. Something. Ilharg we're getting close to. That's Ilharg. All right, play a land. Pass the turn. Now we're definitely going to cycle Sweltering Suns and hopefully put Ilharg into play and go to town. Gitrog Monster. Interesting. Well, we will cycle. Ooh, another Ilharg, but not a land. Okay, tap land. Opponent. Land, please? All right, well, Champion Aronas does technically work. Champion Aronas. Haste. Combat. Attack Exert. Combustible Gearhulk. +1/+1 counter. Take your choice opponent. All right, opponent lets us draw. That's fine. Eats our champion. Also fine. Pass the turn. Well, opponent gets to start sacking lands, drawing cards. I have not seen a Gitrog Monster deck in Pioneer yet. This is the first one. See how sweet this is. Opponent. Thoughtseizes. I guess they take second Combustible. Yep. Elvish Mystic. And a land. All right, opponent's officially out of action. We did want that Combustible, but opponent passing. Well, play Handwear Battlements. Ilharg. Haste. Combat. All attack. No. Not gonna put another Ilharg in. Legend Rule. Making it tough. Opponent jumps. Drops to 10. We pass the turn. Opponent sacks a land. They're going to need to find something good, though. They're at 10. We're at 20. Other than Gitrog generating value, they're basically out of action. 2 cards in hand. What are they, opponent? Field of Ruin. So that does represent a redraw. Yep. Okay. Field of Ruin, redraw. We'll take a mountain. Opponent. Once Upon a Time. Hits a tracker. I mean, I guess tracker is a jump blocker? Unless we can... We need, like, combustible... Anything big would be great. Opponent passes. Well, actually, let's... Yeah, I think what we do here is Sweltering Suns. Get rid of Tracker. Combat. Attack. Nothing put into play. And now our opponent has to block. Kills Ilharg. Drops to 3. Oh, no, dies. That's actually lethal. They need to block the other way because Ilharg tramples. All right. Well, that went pretty well. That went pretty well. I don't know. I don't really want to change, though, honestly. Like, Gitrog, maybe we bring in, like, Hornet Queen over a Surrak? Veil of Summer. Maybe Veil of Summer could be worth it. They're green-black, so the removal and Thoughtseizes are black. I mean, Veil of Summer is just a really powerful card. What do we cut for it, though? is the question. Maybe one more Surrak. I don't even know if it's necessary, but it seems good. A See the Unwritten. Maybe one Rhythm and go 3 Valor Summers. Try it like that. Hornet Queen does seem nice. That's a good way to take down. Some of our opponent's big creatures. I'm almost tempted to keep this, but I don't think we actually do. All right. Well, Worldspine to the bottom. This hand does need a lot of pieces to be good. Opponent, once upon a time, for free, gets a Llanowar. Blooming Marsh, Llanowar. We draw Cinderglade. Well, play Cinderglade, pass the turn. There's the Thoughtseize. Yeah, this hand needs a couple of things before it's powerful. I wonder if bringing in more sweepers would have been worth it to fight through the Thoughtseizes. Opponent. But it doesn't hit their big stuff. I don't know. Opponent. Looks like they have another Once Upon a Time, maybe. Let's play Temple. Scry. We do not need Caryatid number 3. Pass the turn. And there's a Once Upon a Time. Opponent gets a Tracker. Okay. We could have ran out Caryatid last turn, and maybe it's worth it, but opponent's going to start cluing. Maybe it's worth it, but if we draw a sweeper, we'd really like to not wipe out our own Caryatid. Well, it looks like that's not happening, so play Caryatid. And now, this deck is kind of funny. There is a consistency issue. When it's explosive, it's incredibly explosive. But then, it also has some games like this, where it just kind of stumbles around. Well, now that we're seeing more of our opponent's deck, definitely I'm bringing in the Anger of the Gods. Opponent. Getting in, hitting us. Down to 17. Well, play Caryatid. Rootbound Craig. Pass the turn, but these trackers are going to start really going off. Not as good as in Modern because there's no fetch lands, but they can still snowball pretty effectively. Opponent untaps. Karn the Great Creator. Interesting. What in the world is our opponent's deck doing? Artifact from outside the game. Bullis' Citadel. Plays a land, gets a clue. Now, opponent's deck has some spice. I will definitely give it that. Gets in. And I'm feeling like we're pretty dead. Down to 9. So, I mean, we get to Combustible, but I don't think Combustible even saves us. Generator Servant. Yeah, I mean, run out Combustible Gearhulk, I guess. But it might just be too little too late. Huh, opponent's deck is interesting. I have not seen this before. Combustible Gearhulk. What do you pick, opponent? Let's us draw. It's all lands. All right, pass the turn. Oh, these trackers, though. I'm actually not sure how we're supposed to sideboard. Now that we see Karn, too. Trackers. Grow. Clue cracked. Opponent. Artifact outside the game. Well, there's no lock. Aetherflux Reservoir. Okay. Well, opponents, their deck is spicy. I will definitely give them that their deck is very spicy. Gets a clue. Trackers grow. Opponent. Passing. Well, let's see what we hit. Nothing. All right. Yeah. And we will scoop it up with all those clues and Bullis' Citadel. I don't think there's any way we can actually win from there. Huh. I don't know how to sideboard. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I guess we run it back. I have no idea what's going on in our opponent's deck. Literally no clue. I am glad we're going first, though. We get to play first. And, all right, we'll keep. The bad news about this hand is it is a little soft to Thoughtseize. Like, we have Ilharg, Big Things, Ramp, but it is soft to Thoughtseize. I wonder if our deck should have Once Upon a Time. It almost seems like it should. Are we getting Thoughtseized like always? Of course. All right, opponent's got a Thoughtseize. Takes Ilharg. Yup. Passes. I'll play a Mountain. Play Sylvan Caryatid. Pass the turn. We needed that Ilharg. Opponent. Swamp. Passes. We draw something good. Wild Slash. Well, play Sylvan Caryatid. Stomping Grounds. One of the downsides of our deck is our finishers are expensive enough that they are very difficult to cast if we don't have a way to cheat them into play. Like hard casting them, not super practical. Wayward Swordtooth. Overgrown Tomb tapped. Opponent passing. We draw. Sweltering Suns, not good. We will, well, I'm glad we didn't bring in more of them. Cycle. Veil of Summer, pass the turn. Ew, this is so not ideal. Opponent, Courser of Crewfix. Thoughtseize on top. Opponent has a land in hand, of course. And passing. We draw a land, finally. It's tapped, unfortunately. Well, pass the turn. Well, next turn we might get to cast a Hornet Queen. We'll see if that's actually good enough. Opponent has another Courser on top. Thoughtseize. Well, we're definitely going to Veil of Summer. Ooh, that's not a land. Fizzle the Thoughtseize. Opponent's deck has looked sweet. Tireless Tracker. Well, Handwear Battlements. Run out a Hornet Queen. Pass the turn. F6ing, and then our opponent playing that Tireless Tracker might end up being a problem. Opponent, Field of Ruins, gets a clue. Another land, another Thoughtseize. Yeah, now our opponent gets to draw lots of cards. I think we might lose because of that. Cracks a clue, draws Thoughtseize. Elvish Mystic on top. Field of Ruins to shuffle away the Mystic. Well, we grab a land. Opponent has a Karn on top. Gains a life. Thoughtseizes. Sure. Yeah, I think we actually just lose because of that. Just straight up, unfortunately. We could have killed the Tireless Tracker, but we had F6'd, and now we can't, and our opponent's getting to draw infinite cards as a result. So I think that we just lose. Well, play Generator Servant, go to combat, attack, hit our opponent for as much as we can, down to 15, pass the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still a ways away from Worldspine. Opponent has another Karn on top. Yeah, that was a brutal punt. Moto punt, but still a punt. Opponent, another Courser. Field of Ruins to shuffle away the Karn. Well, we have plenty of land, so they're not going to strip mine us. Opponent has a Karn on top again somehow. Gains a couple life. And opponent passes. Ilharg, maybe? Veil of Summer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll go to combat, do some attacking. Hit our opponent. Down to 12, pass the turn. Opponent cracks a clue, draws a card. Land on top. Another tracker on top. Yeah, we definitely lost this game because we F6 that one turn, unfortunately. Kind of a sad way for it to go. Opponent gets to grab an artifact from outside the game. Bolas's Citadel. Hissing Quagmire gains a couple life. Opponent passes. Well, we untap. Another uncastable Worldspine Wurm. Well, Karn, 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 opponent. Karn down, pass the turn. Opponent cracks a clue, draws tracker, untaps. Plays Bolas's Citadel. Sure. Elvish Mystic, Gitrog Monster, land. Does our opponent end up killing themselves is a big question. It's possible. Assassin's Trophy, so we will Veil of Summer. Maybe we still get there, even through our opponent just going off with his tracker. Okay. Another Assassin's Trophy. If we hit a land, we get to put Worldspine Wurm into play. That's a land, alright. Opponent. Elvish Mystic. And, well, Wild Slash our opponent down to 4. And opponent scoops it up? Opponent's deck is sweet. I'm still a little sad that we punted with that Tireless Tracker turn, but I love our opponent's deck. That is such a cool looking deck. I mean, I'm glad we got the win, despite our Moto punt, but I could definitely see myself trying this. That is really one of the coolest decks that I've seen played in Pioneer so far. Definitely sweet. Definitely sweet. All right. Much brew about nothing time. We are, all right. We're looking to slam some Worldspine Wurms in Pioneer. Played some Sneak Attack, I guess. Green Red Sneak Attack seems like a decent name for this deck. Opponent, Spirebluff Canal, sure. Well, play a Forest. Play Generator Servant. Probably going to die, but there might be some argument to holding on to it. Still, this is the upside line, where if we just draw Ilharg, we win next turn, essentially. All right, up against Phoenix by the looks. Opponent's going to go Hagelin. Discards a land. Well, at least it's not a Phoenix. Spirebluff. And Thing in the Ice. Well, Ilharg off the top? Champion of Ronas. Well, interesting. Okay. I mean, we can Champion of Ronas with haste, go to combat, attack exert. I think it's better to just put combustible into play. Combustible Gear Hulk. If we put Worldspine Wurm into play, when Thing in the Ice flips, we're going to lose it anyway. All right, opponent lets us draw cards. It's all lands, which isn't great, but at least we're not drawing those lands for the next few turns now. All right. Maybe it would still be right just to... Oh, another Thing in the Ice. That's frightening. All right. We untap. More lands. Well, Rhythm of the Wild. I'm going to combat. Attack with Combustible. Opponent takes it to 14. 2 Thing in the Ices, though, is not good. Yeah, maybe we should have just Worldspined and hoped that our opponent couldn't flip Thing in the Ice. Lightning Axe. Discards a land. Triggers. Kills champion. We've hit a lot of lands. Opponent, do they have cantrips? They do. Thrill of Possibility. Gonna draw some cards. Counters off Thing in the Ice. Land. Passes. I'll go to combat. Attack. Opponent takes it to 8. Play Rootbound Crag. Yeah, play Generator Servant. Put a counter on it. Pass the turn. Can the Things in the Ice flip? That is the question. If they do, I think we're Ilharg or bust. Wild Slash. Looking likely. Come on. 2 lands in hand. 2 lands. Merchant. Okay. Steam Vents. Ilharg. Give us an Ilharg. Land again. Go to combat. Attack. So many lands. I mean, it is very true that this deck doesn't really have card draw or card filtering. So we are at the mercy of the magic gods. Opponent hits their spell, flips the Things in the Ice, and okay. I mean, we have to hit Ilharg this turn or we're dead. That's it. That's the game. Opponent gets in with both. Hits us to 6. Plays a land. Sylvan Caryatid. Not going to do it. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, I guess there's one other path, which is Combustible Gear Hulk. Opponent lets us draw. We draw Wild Slash, and that's Xaxes. Alright. Nothing. Alright. Well, that game we got Thinged in the Iced, unfortunately. 2 Things in the Ice. That's kind of a lot of Things in the Ice. Well, Rurik Tharin. Grafdigger's Cage, I guess, in. Sweltering Sun seems pretty bad. Unfortunately, we don't really have good ways of interacting with this. Let's bring in the Coursers, I guess. Our removal just doesn't line up with our opponent's creatures. We have stuff that deals 2 and 3, but Thing in the Ice having 4 toughness kind of just naturally means it dodges all of our interaction. That was close. If our opponent only had 1 Thing in the Ice, I think we win. Alright. Well, I guess we keep this. This, I mean, is another hand that could be explosive, but this time we need a finisher. We got the mana, we got a Champion of Ronas, but we're looking for Worldspine Wurm. I think, looking back on that game, considering that this is Pioneer, not Modern, it was probably correct to put Worldspine Wurm into play, because it is a little slower and harder to actually flip a Thing in the Ice. So we might have been unnecessarily worried. And if we had gotten in a couple of attacks, it probably would have greatly changed things. Well, Generator Servant Part 2, another Cinderglade past the turn. Sulfur Falls for our opponent. Is it Charm? All right, opponent's got the removals. Well, we will put Rhythm of the Wilds into play. Land. We need a land. 1 land gets us to this champion, hopefully. Opponent, Royal Scions. All right, land. Royal Scions does some looting, discards a Thrill of Possibility, plays a land. We untap, we draw. All right, that's a land. So we get to play Champion of Ronas. Haste. Go to combat. Attack Royal Scions. Exert. Let's make sure we're exerting. Attack and exert Royal Scions. Combustible Gear Hulk with a counter. Opponent, what do you choose? All right, we get to draw, which is fine. Royal Scions down to 3. Now we get to Hasty Ilharg into Hornet Queen. I kind of like where we're at now. Opponent goes looting. Discards a land. Chart a course. Even if they get back, no Phoenix. Discards a land. I guess they could have Braid Combustible, maybe? Treasure Cruise. Well, opponent's doing what their deck does, drawing lots of cards. But we're doing what our deck does, which is just slam huge things into play. Alright, opponent's going to get back a Phoenix. No attacks. I'll play the Mountain, Ilharg. And this might do it. Ilharg, haste. Ilharg, attack Royal Scions. Combustible. Attack our opponent. Hornet Queen. Whatever. Counter. It's going to bounce anyway. At our opponent. I guess they can kill the Hornet Queen, so it doesn't bounce back to our hand, but I'm imagining at this point it's too little too late, even if they do kill it. Yeah, it kills the Hornet Queen. Drops to 13. Scion's down. All right, opponent, can you beat this board? And if we draw a land, we get to follow this up by See the Unwritten, which is also insane. But we might not even need it. Like, we just have a lot of power on the battlefield. I guess our opponent's best out is probably flipping a thing in the ice. Although, if they vote a thing on the ice, we have Rhythm, we have Ilharg, we have Combustible. So everything rebuilds pretty quickly. Opponent goes Haggling. Well, this was a pretty good performance. Opponent gets another Arclight Phoenix. Although, insects kind of take care of those. And opponent can't get through. All right. That's what our deck can do at full power. It can do some pretty explosive things. And, anger. Is anger worth it? Ugh. It does get rid of, All right, go down one See the Unwritten and one Surrak. Let's keep the Angers, because the Angers do get rid of Arclights forever, which is actually, I think, pretty relevant here. Ooh, we got the all-expensive stuff, no ramp hand. Yeah, we're going to have to ship it. All right, I guess this will keep See the Unwritten to the bottom. This hand's still pretty clunky. Steam Vents, tapped. Well, Cinderglade, go. Rhythm's not bad for the future. Sulfur Falls. Well, no thing in the eyes. That's good. Cinderglade. Go. Opponent. Thrills. Discards a Arclight Phoenix. Sulfur Falls. And opponent Ops. Into Wild Slash. Into Wild Slash. Gets a Phoenix. Hits us. Well, alright. Rootbound Crag. I guess we just gotta get rid of the Phoenix. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Aye, Crackling Drake. That's a big concern. Well, Handwear Battlements play Rhythm of the Wild. Pass the turn. Ooh, we'll see. How dead are we? Opponent. Ops. Growing the Drake. Chart a course. Has an Arclight. Oh, what a hand. Oh! Well, alright. That is Xaxes. Huh. Alright, fair enough. Ha ha. Well, I think maybe that goes back to game 1. I think maybe we should have just slammed the Worldspine Wurm. Game 3, what can you do? That was just a very good hand from one of the best decks in the format. Alright, much brew about nothing time. We are playing some Green Rad Sneak Attack in Pioneer, and I mean, we're going to keep this. We have Generator Servant Ilharg. We don't have a finisher. Also, we might not have... Ooh, Deathrite. All right. Interesting. Well, Mountain and, yeah, let's just slash that. Get it out of here, just in case. Just in case our opponent has a way to get lands in the graveyard. We are going to need more lands. Opponent. Untaps. Overgrown Tomb. Oh, looks like they're playing the Sultai. Definitely playing a Sultai deck. Ugh, we're missing land drops, which is a bit of a concern. We did draw a finisher, which is nice. But without land drops, that is a bit of a problem. Opponent. On the other hand, there's a world where Generator lives, and we just have a Combustible next turn. Stomp. What is our opponent's deck? Stomping Grounds. Well, we gotta go for it. Sack. Champion of Ronas with haste. Combat. No removal. No removal. Attack Exert. Okay. Put Combustible Gearhulk into play. Trigger. And opponent just takes it down to 12. We did mill 2 lands that we really wanted, but we hit a See the Unwritten. All right, pass the turn. Opponent. What you got? What you got? Overgrown Tube. Scoops it up. Oh, it was enough. It was enough. It was enough. Kind of essentially a turd 3 kill. Unfortunately, I have no idea what our opponent's doing. We saw Deathrite and 4 colors of mana. And that's all. Grafdigger doesn't actually stop. Deathrite? I don't know. We didn't see anything else. Carnage Tyrant, maybe. I don't know. Courser of Crew Fixes? Try it like that? I just have no idea what our opponent's doing. Oh boy. Generator Servant Tron. Well, alright. If we could draw something big, we can ramp into it. We also have Rhythm of the Wilds. Boat it. Watergrave. Untap. Thoughtseize. Well, I guess they probably take Rhythm of the Wild. Yup. Rhythm down. Well, Rootbound Crag. That is a champion. Champion means, well, Generator Champion. If we can draw a finisher. A lot with... Oh, is this Soul Flayer? Maybe this is Soul Flayer. Like, very heavy on color Soul Flayer. Generator Servant. Go. Opponent. Woodland Cemetery. And passes. Another troll. Well, we will play Generator Servant. Play a mountain. Pass the turn. Trolls vs. Servants here in Pioneer. We don't even have double green at the moment for See the Unwritten. Opponent. Attacks. Well, we will take something. Take 2 down to 18. Opponent passes. Well, Generator Servant. Champion of Ronas with haste. Hope for no removal. Combat. Attack. Exert. Okay, that's what we were hoping. Exert. Worldspine Wurm. Hopefully that Worldspine Wurm is enough. Opponent going to block. Regenerate. Well, let's Generator Servant. Pass the turn. Well, our hand came together nicely. We ended up with a turn 4 Worldspine Wurm, which is decent. All right, opponent hits another color. Opponent might have been having color troubles. Grizzly Salvage. Well, that's Chromaticor. Jeez. Okay. If they have Soul Flayer, can this still beat us? It still might. Traverse for Soul Flayer. Hexproof. Yeah, this might actually still beat us. Opponent drew it at the last possible second. Opponent gets in, hits us for a lot. All right, down to 10. Death Touch, Double Strike, First Strike. Yeah, looks like our opponent top decked the perfect card. Huh. Ironically, right after our opponent mentioned in chat how bad their draws were. Yeah, I guess that's just game. Death Touch, First Strike. Yeah, that's just game. All right. Yeah, we don't actually have an answer to this. I mean, I guess we hope it doesn't happen. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do it. Pithing Needle doesn't do it. Hornet Queen doesn't actually do it. All right. Oh, yeah, I guess we run it back. Our draw was decent, but our opponent managed to find the right card at the right second. This we can't keep. Sadly, we don't really have a way of interacting with what our opponent's doing. We don't have any actual graveyard hate. We will put a yeah, I guess Battlements to the bottom. Well, we'll see. We'll see how dead we are. If our opponent has a draw like that, the Soul Flayer beats the Worldspine Wurm, and we don't have graveyard hate. Well, Mountain Go. See how good our opponent's hand is. The Soul Flayer deck is super powerful, super clunky, also super powerful when its hands come together. Well, Rootbound Crag, run out a Sylvan Caryatid. Pass the turn. Opponent, Woodland Cemetery. Thoughtseizes. That's a little unfortunate. Takes Rhythm. Passes. We draw something helpful. Well, alright, Generator Servant. Rootbound Crag. Pass the turn. See if our opponent has some removal here. Opponent, Gather the Pack. Alright, hits as a Tulpa. In the graveyard. Ooh, that is a good one. Is it good enough? Temple Garden, untap 16. Opponent, Traverse the Uvenwald. For Soul Flayer? For Lotlith Troll. Oh, I think they might have gotten us. Opponent passes. We draw Forest. Well, we will Hasty Ilharg. Go to combat. Hit our opponent to 10. Combustible Gearhulk. Hit our opponent to 4. Oh, Cinderglade. Pass the turn. Combustible bounces, but does this still just beat us? Does this still just beat us? It might. It might. If they could get lifelink on the Zetalpa. Opponent, Lotlith Troll. Oh, it doesn't beat us. It definitely doesn't beat us. Opponent passes. Well, play the land. Play Combustible Gear Hulk. Trigger. I'm sure our opponent lets us draw. We go to combat. Attack with Ilharg. Our best friend, Worldspine Wurm, sneak attack it in. Oh, thank goodness. Opponent blocks. I don't think it matters, though, unless they have, like, a fog. Oh, yeah. We got there. Man, that is a scary matchup. Death Touch, Lifelink, Vigilance, Hexproof. What do we do about that? I mean, I guess that's our only plan, is to kill our opponent before it happens. And it worked that time, but arguably, we might have got a little fortunate. Our opponent had mana trouble. At the same time, that's a lot of colors. So even with, like, Traverse and Deathrite, yeah, I don't know. But we'll take it. We'll take the win. Sneak attack them in. Sweet. All right. Much brew about nothing time. We are sneak attacking, and ooh, lordy. This is the kind of hand we're looking for. Ramp, Rhythm, Sneak Attack, Emrakul. Of course, the Pioneer equivalents, but Ilharg's better than Champion Aronas, but still, this is a pretty fast Worldspine Wurm, potentially. Alright, we will definitely keep this. Stomping Grounds, tap, pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. Elvish Mist. I'll play a forest. Play Sylvan Caryatid. Pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. Yorvo. Now let's Handwear Battlement. I think we play it this way. Rhythm of the Wild. Take our beats this turn. Worldspine Wurm next turn, and then I don't think we have to be afraid of Yorvo anymore. We will probably take a pretty decent hit here. But Worldspine Wurm is just so big. Heart's Desire. Alright, so this is kind of like Mono Green Stompy, I guess. Oh boy. Yorvo is getting big. Yeah. Opponent hits us for a bunch. We will take it. Down to 50. What do we draw? Mountain. Alright, play the Mountain. Champion of Ronas. Haste. Combat. Attack. Exert. Worldspine Wurm. With a +1/+1 counter. Because a 15/15 is not big enough. Okay. Opponent gonna eat our champion. But can they beat a 15/15 Worldspine Wurm is the real question. And we still have Combustible left over that we can just hardcast. Opponent. Heir of the Wilds. Yorvo. Growing. Still not to Worldspine Wurm status, though. Scavenging Ooze. Sure. Opponent. Passing. Play Cinderglade. Combustible Gear Hulk. +1/+1 counter. See what our opponent picks. Well, those are not cards we really wanted. Pass the turn. Huh. I guess eventually this Yorvo will get to Worldspine Wurm status. And I'm a little worried about pump spells. That's actually my biggest fear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aspect of the Hydra is +7/+7 at the moment. Another Heart's Desire. Another Lovestruck Beast. Yeah. Yorvo. Growin. Opponent. Passes. I'll play Temple of Abandon. Scry. Definitely do not want Rootbound Crag. Play Generator Servant. Put a counter on it. Pass the turn. This is scary. Our deck did what our deck is supposed to do, but I'm not sure it's good enough. Ronas, the Indomitable. Yeah, that's also scary. Opponent eats Champion Ronas. Passes. More lands. Yeah, get in with Worldspine Wurm. We gotta do something. Wow, opponent takes it to 5. Alright. Stomping Grounds. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Oh, we've just drawn so many lands. There's the Ronas. Grows the Yorvo. Opponent gets in. And we'll block with Caryatid. Untap. Go to combat. Attack with Worldspine Wurm. Opponent blocks. Blocks. Well, we kill 2 Lovestruck Beasts. Get some 5/5s. Worldspine Wurm gonna shuffle back in. Just kidding. Gets eaten. Alright, so we get a bunch of worms. Play Champion of Ronas. Put a counter on it. Play Cinderglade. Pass the turn. Forest for our opponent. Mystic. Grows a Yorvo. Eats a Yorvo. Eats a Yorvo. I think we need another Combustible Gear Hulk. Eats Caryatid. Alright, grows the Scavenging Ooze. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. We draw. Oh, sweet mother of mercy. All right, pass the turn. Ugh. Well, I guess the downside of our deck is if we do our thing and our thing ends up not being good enough, like it kind of is here, that's actually a pretty big concern. Opponent gets in with Yorvo. I mean, if they have some silly pump spell, then we're going to get super blown out. But block with all of our worms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if they had aspect to the Hydra, it's going to be 18. All right. Block with all that. Blossoming Defense. Blossoming Defense. Well, we blocked with enough to kill it, which is nice. We lose 2 worms. Untap. Wild Slash. Well, play a forest past the turn. I think we can officially hardcast a Worldspine Wurm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we actually have 11 lands on the battlefield. So we can just straight up cast a Worldspine Wurm if we draw it. Opponent. More Yorvos. And Llanowar Elves. Hell, we're running out of time. We need a Combustible, I think. Opponent. Attacks. Yeah, I mean, we'll take 5. We can't really stop it. Down to 10. All right, deck. If you want to be good to us, do it now. Let's sack Generator Servant. Sweltering Suns. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent blocks. Blocks. Drops to 1. Oh, my goodness. Oh, our deck was good to us. That was a perfect timing. Oh, thank you, deck. Oh, man. Huh. Wow. I can literally not believe that Yorvo was kind of actually really trumping a Worldspine Wurm. That sounds absolutely insane to say, but that's basically what was happening. Our opponent's Yorvos were growing so big that it was able to keep us from attacking. We had, almost unbelievably, I believe we had a turn 4 Worldspine Wurm in that game. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Well, all right. We'll keep. What do we put to the bottom? Ugh. Oh, this is tough. So I want to put a land to the bottom, but if we put a land to the bottom, there's a risk that we don't draw land, even though we normally just draw lands like crazy. The odds heavily favor us drawing a land, but is it worth risking it when we have a turn 3 Ilharg Worldspine hand? The problem is if we do draw lands and we don't keep Combustible, we don't have a way to all right, Combustible to the bottom. No chance. We're going for it. We're all in. We're sneak attack. We're a sneak attack deck. Opponent, once upon a time, sure. I mean, turn 2 Generator, turn 3 Ilharg Worldspine. If it's not enough, it's not enough. Like, that's what our deck does. That's what our deck does. It's as good as it gets for our deck. If that's not good enough, what can we do? Like, what can we do about it? Man, we did draw land, so, yeah. Still, I don't know if we can risk it, even though we tend to be flood out heavy. Opponent, Burning Tree Emissary. Scavenging Ooze. Opponent is down to 2 cards. Get in for 1. Well, I wish we kept Combustible. Generator Servant, go. Castle Garen Brick. Opponent, Elvish Mystic, 1 card in hand. Opponent, gets in, gets in, gets in. Oh, this is lethal. I think this is, oh, they can gain 1 life. It's almost lethal. Play the Mountain, Generator Servant. Ilharg with haste. Combat, attack, Worldspine Wurm. Oh, opponent scoops it up? Wow, I don't think they were officially dead, although I don't think they could have got back into it. They could have chumped, gained 1, and they would have went to 1, but I don't think there's any way they're going to 14 us, and being mono green, they're not going to kill Ilharg, and alright, that is the power of the deck. Boy, we drew lands every turn, but we ended with a turn 3 kill, so yeah, sneak attack, Pioneer, get him. Alright, much brew about nothing time. We are sneak attacking in Pioneer. And we're going to ship that. All right, this will keep. I mean, basically we're hoping for a way to cheat Worldspine Wurm into play. We got the ramp. We can put a mountain to the bottom, I guess. Worst case, we can cycle Sweltering Suns. Cycle Sweltering Suns. We would need to see the matchup. Maybe we will want it to sweep our opponent's board, but this hand's fine. Carry added. Hopefully a way to cheat old Worldspiny into play. Pioneer Emrakul, as we call it. Yeah, we'll keep 6. Put a mountain to the bottom. Cinderglade, go. Botanical Sanctum for our opponent. Oh no. Or oh dear, should I say? No, play a mountain. Yeah, let's pass. Let's not run out Caryatid yet. If our opponent just plays more dorks, we might be sweltering here. Opponent, combat, passing. Interesting. Ugh. Alright, well, Caryatid. Pass the turn. Opponent, gonna make some food. Yum yum. Untaps. Yeah, we need a way to do some sneaking. Questing Beast. Alright. That's big, and we can't really kill it. Gets in. Hits us. 16. We untap. Well, play Rhythm of the Wild. We're getting closer-ish past the turn, but we gotta find something sooner. We're gonna die to Questing Beasts, and probably Okos. Is this just a standard deck with slightly better mana? Okay, Elvish Mystic. That's not a standard card. Llanowar Elves. Also not standard. Opponent, combat. Gets in for 4. All right. Champion Aronos off the top. Calling it now. Called shot. Rhythm. Now play Sylvan Caryatid. Put a counter on it. Pass the turn. We're running a bit short on time. Opponent untaps with an ungodly amount of mana thanks to all these dorks. Breeding Pool. Ooh, untapped. That's probably something big. Definitely something big. Crosses? What is this deck? This looks like a standard deck. It's a crosses. We're losing to a standard deck. Opponent gets in. Yeah. We draw nothing. Yeah, we're just dead. All right. Well, that's kind of one of the downsides of our deck is there is a fizzle rate. Like sometimes that happens. Do we need a Hornet Queen? Well, we can bring in 2 more Angers, probably, since we've seen so many mana dorks. Hornet Queen deals with... We just don't want to let our opponent get to a big crosses, I think. Go down like a See the Unwritten, a Surrock. All right, I guess we bring in a Hornet Queen. Maybe we go 3 Ras. We don't want to overload too much. All right, try it like that. Try it like that, try it like that. I am a little bit worried about the big creatures. We get to play first. All right. I mean, this we will keep. We have turn 2 Generator Servant, turn 3 Hasty Champion, put Combustible into play. Doesn't seem bad. Elvish Mystic for our opponent. Rootbound Crag, Generator Servant. Pass the turn. I guess we could just get Oko. That would be annoying. Tap land. Llanowar Elves. Boy, a sweeper would be sweet too. Opponent gets in. No blocks. We got plans for this Generator Servant. Well, crack it. Champion Aronos. Not quite as good as Ilharg, but still not bad. Go to combat. Attack Exert. Combustible. See what our opponent picks. There is... Oh! Wow! Okay. Well, I guess the good news is we didn't want to draw those infinite lands. Cinderglade, go. We definitely didn't want to draw those, although that means 0 damage. Oy, 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 oy. That's a lot of lands on top of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12? That's many. That's many lands. There's a Nissa. That's bad. Untaps a land. Plays a miss. Oh, what we would give for a sweeper. What we would give for an Anger of the Gods. Wow. Holy. All right, we're breaking records here. Get in it, Nissa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yikes. 10 out of 13. We might have to blow up the calculator. Opponent. Yeah, untapping with Nissa is a very bad sign, especially since we have literally no action. Courser of Krufix. Land on top. Plays the land on top. Yeah, I guess we should have brought in all the Anger of the Gods. Now that we see what our opponent's deck is doing, it would have been worth it. Opponent gets in. Leaves back 2 creatures. Yup. Leaves back. Opponent thinking. An Anger of the Gods would still be great. Down to 12. Opponent passes. Good God. Pass the turn. 11 out of 14. Well, and there, crosses on top, yeah. Worldspine Wurm doesn't do it here, and we will scoop it up. 11 out of 14. I feel like we just got betrayed by the magic gods in that one. Do we got to calculate it while we're waiting? All right, let's calculate it. Let's see. Let's see. We have to. 11 out of 13. 60 cards, 25 lands, 14 card sample size, 11 lands drawn. 0.0018. Okay, yeah. So that'll happen, what, 2 every 1,000 games? Well, we got it out of the way. So now we should have another 998 games before we draw that many lands. So, what do we learn this week about green-red sneak attack for Pioneer? And we played a league with the deck. We ended up going 3-2, which, I mean, not a bad record. We technically fed the children, got a treasure chest out of the deal. Along the way, we lost to Is It Phoenix? Although, I will say, I think that might have been my fault. We had a turn where we could have cheated Worldspine Wurm into play, but our opponent had a Thing in the Ice on the battlefield. So instead, we went with Combustible Gearhulk, thinking if our opponent's going to flip Thing in the Ice, they're going to take more damage, or at least we're going to draw more cards with Combustible, compared to Worldspine Wurm, which, if it gets bounced, is just bounced forever. We didn't get anything out of it. The thing is, I think I was overly scared of Thing in the Ice. In Modern, Thing in the Ice, if you untap with like 3 mana Thing in the Ice, it's usually going to flip. You got Manamorphoses and all these like free spells that can flip it. On the other hand, in Pioneer, I forgot that it's a little harder to flip Thing in the Ice. Your cantrips, most of them are like 2 mana, so it takes a lot more work to actually get it to flip. So I think if we had just cheated Worldspine Wurm into play and crossed our fingers, we probably would have won that game. Otherwise, though, we beat a really spicy green-black, I don't even know, Gitrog Botster, tutoring, Bolus's Citadel, and Aetherflux Reservoir out of the sideboard with Karn. Just some crazy deck, which I want to reverse engineer or play because that deck was super spicy and looked super cool. We beat them. We beat a Soul Flayer combo deck. We beat Mono Green, which actually was really impressive, but thankfully our Worldspine Wurm was just barely bigger than Yorvo. So I feel like Green-Red Sneak Attack, record aside, it's kind of a good news, bad news deck. The good news is its best draws are among the best draws you can have in the Pioneer format. I think turn 3 kills, it doesn't get much better than that. That is about max speed in Pioneer, and most decks don't even have the possibility of winning on turn 3. And in our deck, it's not even that hard. It's just like Generator Servant, Ilharg, Worldspine Wurm. Turn 3 kill a lot of the time. So that's the upside of the deck, is when everything comes together, and I think we should mulligan aggressively to have everything come together, it is really insane what the deck can do. On the other hand, the bad news side of the deck is it can be pretty inconsistent. We have hands where we draw all big stuff, no way to cheat it into play, all ramp and ways to cheat things into play, and Rhythm of the Wilds, and no big stuff. So there is this fizzle rate built into the deck, and we also have 25 lands, which is a pretty high number of lands. Although, I guess that's like so we can hardcast our stuff, but really, it kind of feels like a lot. We had some games where we just drew an ungodly number of lands and not really anything to do with them. So I feel like I wish there was a way to make the deck slightly more consistent. I'm not sure what the best option is. I'm almost tempted to try like Thrill of Possibility or something, some sort of card filtering, or Escape from the Wilds maybe, to like look at 5 cards, play them our next turn, some sort of dig through our deck card advantage type spell. Because I feel like if this deck was just a bit more consistent, it would be even better, because mostly how we lose isn't to our opponent, other than Oko, which Oko does kind of just beat us, but other than Oko, we don't usually lose to our opponent. We mostly lose to ourselves in like getting clunky hands and just the inconsistency of the deck. So I think that's the next step for this deck. I really like it. It's really fun, really unique, really cool that it exists in Pioneer. I just wish there was a way to make it tiny bit more consistent. Like, this deck would kill for a Faithless Looting. So I think maybe like Thrill of Possibility, Cathartic Reunion, some way to turn useless extra lands into fresh cards that could potentially be our big win the game cards. Because if we get our nut draw, we're beating basically anyone. The challenge for the deck is how do we function when we don't have that draw? And we have to play like a fair deck, and that's when the deck can be a little bit clunky sometimes. So a way to improve consistency would be awesome, but overall, I really like the deck. It's super sweet, it's super fun, it's super unique, it can kill super quickly, and it's It's one of the spicier decks, I think, in Pioneer at the moment. So anyway, that has been our much Abrew for today. Green-red sneak attack for Pioneer. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed playing it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.